So, you are a new light player just like me and are probably fed up with the fact that stasis exists, which gives other players a straight advantage against you. Well, fear not, Guardians, hope has arrived, because I am here with a guide to help you have a fighting chance in this week's Iron Banner. Without wasting any more time, let's start with Warlock. I have two playstyles for you, which work best given the current position Crucible is in, from which the first one is top 3 Solar. For movement, Balanced Glide works best as Warlocks are a bit sluggish compared to the other two counterparts. Melee, you shoot 3 missiles which track enemies when fired in their general direction. Praise the Sun, fire weapons with ADS whilst in air without losing your exotic armor slot. Icarus Dash, you can dodge twice while mid-air. Great mobility tool, can be used to get out of Snow Dome Grenade and Hunter Snowstorms. Also good to avoid enemy supers.
Stop it. Get some help.
McFly, consume your grenade to fly better, higher, faster, stronger. Mini Sun Grenade works the best as it lets you control zones better, using Healing Rift as well for a better chance at capturing zones. Ultimate Angry Sword, use your ult while hunting or with zone advantage to get a couple of kills to get your team ahead. Do not feel bad for not getting more than 2 or 3 kills because it can be a bit hard if you are just starting to use this subclass. Maximize stats with recovery in priority and then go for resilience to sustain a bit more damage before you die. That extra resilience will go a long way, making you a bit more beefy in your ultimate so that you can grab a few more kills before you finally die. The playstyle here is to stay in air as much as you can, to abuse your vertical movement and chip people out with a 140 RPM hand cannon until they die. If you can handle the kick, a 120 RPM one works as well. A personal loadout recommendation would be Dire Promise, Throat Teller or Adore and Warcliffe Coil. And if you have the mod energy for it, use Taking Charge and High Energy Fire mods, which give you an upfront damage buff each time you pick up an Orb of Light. Now for those players who wanna chill and don't wanna micromanage dashing and shooting your guns mid-air, I got you covered. This is for you. Top 3 Void. This is the mage build. You are the wizard. Ultimate Spirit Bomb. This is your Big On Thought ability which you must use only when you see a behemoth or any other roaming ults coming towards you. You can also use it when defending or capturing a point against a couple or more enemies. Vortex Grenade is your best friend. It can and will melt enemies if they stand in its proximity, and trust me, they will. They always do. It also lets you zone control and push enemies off a point, and dropping these in small corridors can be devastating for the enemy team. And what helps make this happen is Chaos Accelerant, aka Super Saiyan Charge. Hold your grenade key to overcharge it, increasing its damage. You'll know when it's reached its maximum damage output when you are holding it near your chest. Aim a bit higher than where you want it to land if throwing at a distance, and aim it right at your feet if being rushed by a liar. Melee fills up a portion of your grenade energy if you get a kill with it. Handy. Placeholder perk. Cause mini explosions by getting void ability kills. Not so great in PvP, but it is what it is. Once again, stick with Healing Rift for capturing zones and healing up with cover to turn fights against your enemies. Maximize stats with recovery and prio and then go for discipline to gain your nades back for easy cheese kills. Loadout recommendation would be True Prophecy, CQC Shotgun or Adore and Warcliffe. Same charge with light mods mentioned with the Solar subclass if you can afford to have them on. Your playstyle here is going to be as basic as scamming enemies with your grenade and using gunplay to survive until your grenade is back up again. Apologies to the Arc users, as I would recommend keeping away from it right now, as Stasis users will just freeze and shoot you down if they see you coming with your ultimate. Give the mentioned subclasses a couple matches worth of try, and if you still don't feel good with them, go back to using Arc, whatever works for you best. That wraps up Warlocks and brings us to Ungodly Wretched Hunters. Hunters can pretty much use any subclass they want, but for optimal results I would recommend 2 over one other. First preference being Solar Top 3. Ultimate High Noon. Use it while hunting or to stop roaming supers. Always use Strip Mine Grenade with your melee, which is basically a smaller version of your nade that deals a bit less damage. Use them both in quick succession with milling first into immediately throwing your nade, which will one-shot any enemy not using their super. This can also be used in clearing some enemies off a point. Sleight of Hand Pro grants you and your allies faster reload speed after getting a precision or headshot kill. This buff does increase your reload speed even through weapon perks like Iron Glare. Nifty. Miss every shot you don't take. It gives you 6 bullets, so fire away, it is fine. Deadshot. Aimbot with ultimate, but doesn't work on PC. Well, thank God at least we are good at the game. Use Marksman Dodge to get into cover from corners to evade a losing fight, or insta-reload in a fight to gain the upper hand. Lastly, for movement, I use Strafe Jump as it is handy to redirect yourself while mid-air, but this is totally personal preference. Shotgunners like to pair it with High Jump and Stompies, and a friend of mine with over 2000 hours can't get over how good Triple Jump is in PvP, but I don't see the hype. Use 4 Tracker if available to gain partial wall hacks and damage buff against others. This lets you 2-tap with a 120 RPM hand cannon as the first bullet's payload procs with the damage buff and lets your second bullet do more than its total damage. If that made any sense. Loadout recommendation: True Prophecy, CQC Shotgun for close range combat, or Adore based on your preference, and Mortliff to terrorize people. Not to forget Fort Tracer as armor exotic. Maximize your stats with recovery and prio and then max out mobility if you can. Use base charge with light mods like taking charge and high energy fire if you can afford to have them on. Moving on to preference 2, top 3 void. Ultimate.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
Use it only against roaming ultimates. Bring grenade of your choice. I use Vortex because of that underlying Warlock instinct. Melee, 1990s television signal loss, or ants on screen for anybody caught in its fart release. You can use melee into grenade tactic here as well. Smoke screen slows them down while Vortex eats their health away. Pretty good for defending points. Turbo UAV gets state of the art, better tracker and increased sprint speed.
What more do you want from me?
Wait, that's illegal. I hated this and every single hunter using it until Stasis was released, but now it is time to use the dark side. Go invis for roughly 5 seconds. Invisibility does break if you fire it. To throw off your opponents even further, use Gambler's Dodge and do a somersault before you vanish into literally nothing. For movement ability, I'd recommend the same thing I did for Solar, which is to use what suits you best. I personally use Strafe Jump here as well. 100% recommendation of Frosties if you have them. Brings your dodge back up as you run around the map looking for the next prey. Loadout recommendations: True Prophecy, CQC Shotgun and Wartliff's Coil. If you don't have the 7 Seraph CQC Shoddy, do not worry. Just bring a Xenoclast, you will be fine. Most of Void Tree's playstyle is linked to having a shotgun out at all times and using your invis to rush and shotgun enemies. Xenoclast drops from the Strike playlist. If you happen to have a double Strike rewards mod on your Ghost, you have a chance to get 2 Xenoclast drops from a single Strike run. Maximize stats with recovery and prio and then max out mobility second for even faster dodge cooldowns. Use charge with light mods mentioned before to gain an edge over other enemies, dealing more damage each time you pick up Orbs of Light. Moving on to the final and last preference, bottom tree arc. Use Flux or Arc Bolt Grenade, both of which just don't go off sometimes. Use your preferred jump for movement ability. Once again, I use Strafe. The only thing which makes this playstyle viable is focused breathing, which grants you increased sprint speed and recharges your dodge ability when you are sprinting, which goes perfectly with lightning reflexes, aka lead for breakfast, which grants you 32% damage reduction while dodging. You can use Gambler's Dodge on top of that to somersault and make your enemies lose headshot accuracy while having damage reduction. You pair these 2 perks up with Frosties and there you go. That's a winning shotgun close range formula. Ultimate Jedi Master. Use it only while hunting or holding more than 2 zones. Do not get excited and use it to fight other supers, that might not end well. Maximize stats with recovery in prio and then max mobility second to abuse god mode dodge. Use charge with light mods if you have space for them. And with hunters out of the way, finally moving to the main attraction. The Harbinger of War, the god of fire and steel, the unrelenting, unbreakable Titan. I have 2 options for you Titans out there, starting off with the better one, Bottom Tree Solar, Ultimate. The only thing they fear is you. You can use your ult to hunt people, to fight off other supers, to make people scatter off a point, and roast those stupid enough to challenge you. For grenade, use fusion. This will work into a playstyle with Viking gauntlets. For movement, always use strafe lift in PvP. It's smooth and easy to control mid-air. Overall, a feels good movement ability. Moving on to perks, we've got built-in kill clip. Passing through a sunspot gives you a damage buff for any source you use, may it be a melee, weapons, your grenade or super hammers. This damage buff lasts for 5 seconds and can be refreshed after entering another or the same sunspot's burn area. Frag Fist. When up, your melee ability burns the initial enemy hit and the other enemy is caught in its explosion radius. Light the pyres. You leave sunspots from your melee, grenade and super kills. These sunspots deal more damage than a fully charged Warlock's Vortex grenade, and solar kills including nade, super, melee and kills from sunspot themselves heal you to sustain more damage in long fights, making you the perfect warrior. Super Modifier. Your hammers create sunspots and standing in sunspots make your hammers go faster. Playstyle. Use a 120 RPM hand cannon to land one shot at your enemy and follow that up with a grenade, resulting in a quick grenade kill. Getting that kill will refund your grenade, allowing you to do the same again, or if you have the Sun Warrior damage active, get easy 2 shots with your 120 RPM hand cannon of choice, creating another sunspot to refresh your Sun Warrior damage. Preferred loadout recommendation: True Prophecy, CQC Shotgun or Roar, and What Lives Coin. Maximize stats with recovery in prio and then go for resilience to get more beefy and reduce barrier cooldown to make cover out of thin air. Having more res will also make you more tanky while using your ultimate. Any extra res works as your ultimate is a roamer and people will do what they can to shut it down. Also use Towering Barricade every time in PvP, half barricade is just not worth it. Use charge with light mods if you can afford the mod space and wreak havoc. Your second and last choice would be Void Bottom Tree. Stop any roaming ult with a well-timed depressor grenade. Moving on to perks, we have 2 shields. While in ult, you can throw your shield twice before waiting for a cooldown. Think fast or FBI, open up. Milling after sprinting makes you shield charge into the enemy nearest to you as long as you are looking in their general direction. This is a one-shot ability for anybody who tries to rush you. You can also use this to stop roaming ultimates, but it's a strong 50-50. Most of the times you will die before landing this ability if the enemy knows what you are trying to do. But if they don't, you will stop their ult, but most likely they won't get one shot, so get ready to follow it up with something like a shotgun. Your ultimate. Homing shields. What you need to do is throw shields at enemies from mid to long range and use walls to ricochet your shields to give them aimbot levels of tracking. You can one-shot anybody stupid enough to get close with a normal click. Use this ult primarily to hunt or with zone advantage, but you can also do it to fight enemy supers to a certain extent. Make sure to use Doomfangs to make your ult last longer and extend its duration with shield kills. Maximize stats with recovery in prio and then go for strength to get shield bash cooldown faster to one-shot cheese enemies and also gain your ultimate back faster considering you're using Doomfangs. Preferred loadout: True Prophecy, CQC Shotgun, What Lives Coil. This playstyle is to stop enemies from popping off, putting you in a damage control position which can make you feel like your team is doing nothing and is not good enough to have you. Hence I would recommend you trying the Solar subclass, as it takes a more aggressive tone, putting you in a place where you are the one who is the carry, making you more of a leader. Arc subclass for Titan is weak because of its melee range roaming Thunder God ult, which can be frozen and gutted just like Hunter's Jedi Master Fantasy. The only way to make it viable is to use top 3 arc with unlimited soccer kick exotic helmet, which refreshes your melee ability every time you get a melee kill. And the main and only drawback to this is they will see you coming, they will freeze you, you will die. Not to mention the liars who will just be looking for a close range skirmish to one tap you, potentially teabag, and leave. That covers all the best ways to play PvP as a new light player in Iron Banner and Crucible in general. The most important tip to win Iron Banner or Control is to always have zone advantage, always fight for B and have it captured. In most maps, A and C are spawn points, so B will be the point which wins you the game. Also, yes, you should start a hunt the first chance you get and rampage all over your enemies to gain an advantage for your team. Use Freelancer queue for your Iron Banner games if queuing alone. Do not match against 6-player full stasis clan stack. Freelance queue matches solo players with other solo players, hence giving you a somewhat equal chance from matchmaking. I hope this video helped and thank you for watching.